What's good, everybody? Welcome into
Chill.
Inside the Green Room with Danny Green. I am Harrison Sanford, and our show, as always, presented to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. And Danny, I wish there was just one more assist from LeBron James tonight, and FanDuel would have been very nice to me. They really would have made every moment more, but that's neither here nor there. We will discuss what happened in the Lakers and Clippers game. We will discuss some of the teams that are playing at a very, very high level in the Eastern Conference, particularly the Detroit Pistons, Miami Heat, and the Toronto Raptors in this show. And before we get out of here, we have to give a tribute to one Chris Paul, who announced his retirement this past weekend. But first, Danny, you're a busy man. I applaud you for doing the pod after a busy day of on-air work.
After hours, yeah, it was a good day, man. We had pod early this morning at 6 a.m. and then pod at midnight. But in between, NBA Today and Spectrum Sportsnet, while being a parent, which is probably the hardest job. But yeah, man, it's been a day. A lot of fun though. Got a chance to watch some basketball, be around the game, get out the house, get some reps in. So that's what it's about. You know, got to put in the hours and grind it out until I can be one of the big dogs one day.
As you did Spectrum Sportsnet tonight and you did cover the Lakers game, I'm curious, do you feel, I'll just ask it this way. So you were only with the Lakers for 1 year.
Yeah.
Right? But obviously you won a championship. Do you feel, just like the Raptors, you were only there 1 year, but you won a championship. Do you feel, how does the experience of winning a championship with a franchise probably change your impression of the franchise, of the city you were in, or maybe even just probably how you're received from the fans?
I think because
you spent time in Memphis, you didn't win. You spent time in Cleveland, you didn't win. You spent time in Philadelphia, and you didn't win. And I'm sure there's just a different, even when you check your socials, there's just a different energy towards you.
Way different.
Being as a person that you won a championship.
Yeah, more so being received. You received way more welcoming with open arms if you won a championship, and you'll forever be remembered, regardless of how much time has passed, where you've been. The city remembers their champions, especially Toronto. They only got one. LA's got 17, so they're a little spoiled, 18. But San Antonio, Toronto, they for sure said they're all about their Spurs, and San Antonio don't have no professional team. Toronto only has one championship. And Lakers, they respect the Lakers. It's a bigger city, so it's a little different, but you're still, even though being there 1 year, you're welcomed warmly, and you're respected because they do appreciate you, especially when they haven't been able to get back there. It's been a drought after. Like they appreciate you more after the fact. But yeah, the other cities, they still show me love. Like Cleveland, I was drafted there, and I think because of what I've gone on to do, they're proud of me. Like, oh, we drafted him. He was our product. You know what I'm saying? Memphis was more of like a rehab situation, so maybe not so much, but I still came in as a vet during a time with a group. I was lucky enough to be a part of a group when they were really good, and they had a good rhythm and had a good team and chemistry and bonding. But yeah, not as still received as the teams where Philly, again, another blue collar city, but I've been 2 or 3 years in some trench days. We were a number 1 seed, and we're the team that was supposed to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, but I had hurt my calf. So I'm welcome there pretty decently as well, but it's nothing like the cities where you win a championship. So
100%.
But again, all my fans, they've been great to me, man, and they appreciate you way more after you leave, which is a good thing.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but before you eventually played for the Lakers, you spent most of your time in Texas, maybe New York during your summers. You weren't typically, a lot of NBA players end up going to LA. And if you end up winning the if Kawhi ends up staying in Toronto, it feels as if you would have stayed in Toronto. And now
I wanted
because
to.
You wanted to. Who knows? Yeah, who knows what the offer would have been like from the Lakers that might have convinced you to go regardless, or from Dallas, wherever it might have been. So I'm curious though. Now you end up playing for the Lakers. You end up winning a title there. You end up setting up shop. Do you think you end up being an L. Now you live in LA. LA is your home.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you end up living in LA if it wasn't for the Lakers?
Probably not. No. And if it wasn't for COVID, not just the Lakers, but COVID, big two key factors of me living in LA. And I thought it was always going to be Texas because I spent so much time in Texas, and the wife is from Texas. So I thought I was for sure ending up in Texas. It's cheaper there. You know, I'm a laid back, frugal, simple guy, and being in that San Antonio Spurs land for that long, I've learned from the best of them. But during COVID is kind of where, and being in Manhattan Beach, and then the fact that I was blessed enough to make enough money to be like, I can afford this, it was hard to leave. And coming from Toronto to Manhattan Beach, just the timing of it, waking up with those cold winters every day, the dogs are part husky, not want to go outside to pee. Like they didn't want to go use the bathroom. That's how cold it was. We had a rough winter in Toronto. So waking up in a robe every day and seeing the beach and the sun and having the same weather damn near all year round was very hard to pass up. So yeah, if I never played in LA and COVID never happened, I probably wouldn't have been a LA resident.
I think my time in LA made me appreciate it more. And I think exactly what you were talking about. It wasn't just when the world was quote unquote normal. It was that I was still able to enjoy my life relatively during COVID.
Shutdown. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything was
outside,
shut down.
Smell some air. The sun is nice. You didn't feel trapped in. If you're in a cold city or a city where there's no weather and you don't care to go outside, you'd be trapped in the house forever. Like I could still, I mean, you're not supposed to, but we could still like individually go outside walks or run the beach when nobody, like it was quiet, but you still felt like you're on vacation every day. So it's hard to beat that if you can afford it.
Yeah, no, as a New Yorker, it's hard for me to say this, but I have to keep it real. LA is undoubtedly my favorite. If I had to choose, is the place where I would live, and it's because of the sun. Now, a lot of people who are not from LA hate on LA because and one of their first complaint is the people. And I will admit, my favorite people. If I had to give if I had to break it down, I would live in Toronto for the people.
Yeah.
I would live in New York because it's home, and then I would live in LA for the lifestyle. Because
so if you can if you can combine them, if I can get LA's lifestyle weather and I can get the people from Canada, but have New York,
and I could bring I could bring my friends and family. I could bring my friends and family from New York, the regular people, the other people from Toronto, and just put them in LA. Happy man.
For sure. So again, during that time, we had a lot of people from New York living here at that time. So we had a village. We had a good amount of friends here. My favorite group of people is not also the Canadians for sure, but the Southern people. South people are very hospitable. So yeah, I couldn't disagree with that, but I don't think I would. I also think LA is one of those cities you have to find your group, find your hub. Like it
100%.
Seems superficial, but once you find your hub, you find your group, the people aren't that bad. And the people that are outsiders outside of your people, yeah, they're weird, but there's so many people imported from other places. You can find your Northeasterners here in LA. You can find your vibe here.
Or you could find your. I found that like most of my friends in LA were either other New Yorkers like me.
Yeah. So Northeasterners that imported.
or people who are actually from LA for real. Like not like from Hollywood, like from like a real, like from Culver City, from Inglewood, like
Inglewood,
who are actually from LA, born and raised, and not necessarily like from I can't name one of the more affluent, not from like Brent, no shade to people in Brentwood, but not like from Brentwood. You know what I'm
Orange
saying? Not
County
from Beverly Hills.
Like that. Yeah.
Exactly. With that being said,
shit like that.
With that being said, before we talk about what happened in the Lakers and Clippers game tonight and the NBA in general, I gotta say it. I love what the NBA has done. I love the fact that there's national TV games every night. It feels like the NBA is more appointment viewing than it's ever been in my NBA viewing history. I got to say this. In no world should a game featuring LeBron James, Luka Doncic, James Harden, star players, superstar players, Kawhi Leonard, there's no world where a game that features those players should be finishing at 2 a.m. Eastern with no overtimes. With no overtimes, a game with the Lakers and LeBron, who's like a magnet for everybody to watch, ends at 2 a.m. Eastern. I'm sorry, bro. If it wasn't Thanksgiving week, if it wasn't a holiday week, I would be, most people would be livid. People probably still livid regardless. Because it's like, yo, you're starting the game at 11 p.m. Eastern. I understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. It's not right. It's just not right.
Especially coming from the media heads who have to work the games and don't get home till 3, 4.
Yeah, I'm not even complaining as a media head.
As a regular fan.
As an audience member, that's ridiculous.
Nah, it sucks that, it sucks that we're on the West Coast. It's a gift and a curse that we're on the West Coast. But the games on the West Coast should start no later than 7 o'clock. Most games should be 6, 6:30, 7. That's where they should range. If you even get some 5 o'clock or 5:30 games, great. But I think the normal time should be about 6:30. And then, everybody on both coasts are pretty happy. The game finishes, people can still go out and do things here. People finish out in New York, they can still go to sleep at a decent hour. So 9:30 to 11:30, they'd be done at midnight. Okay, cool. Asking people to stay up past midnight, 1 a.m. is a lot.
And especially
I wouldn't say especially during the regular season, because in the playoffs I wouldn't do it either. Shouldn't do it at any point, honestly.
The playoffs are a little bit easier to space out too. Like you can have more games, that you can space out the games. But it's also too, like if you're trying to usher in a new audience, like you're always trying to get the youngest viewers possible, because those are the ones who can have a longer lifespan as NBA fans. What
the kids they ain't watching this?
What 10-year-old can convince their parents to stay up at 1:30 a.m. to watch a regular season basketball game?
That brings me back to my young days. We used to stay up late, but not till 2 a.m. We would stay up until midnight. Maybe 12:30. My dad let us watch some playoff games, but 2 a.m. is a bit much. And we used to be late. We used to stay up pretty late, but 2 a.m. is a bit much.
2 a.m. is OD. It's OD. And I'm also, again, I love the NBA, but I also have to complain because while the game was late, I got to keep it real with you. I'm sorry to say this, Danny. Even with LeBron, even with Luka, and even with Austin Reeves, that game was not an entertaining watch. And yes, Luka went crazy because the foul grifting is at an all-time high right now. Everything is a foul, and I'm not saying they're not getting fouled, but like it's the flow of the game consistently gets stopped. Like when you watch the Lakers and when you watch the Lakers in general, or when you watch the Lakers and Clippers tonight, did you ever feel like, one, the game was fast-paced? No. Did you ever feel like there were 5 minutes of continuous basketball? Never.
The first half. The first half went pretty good.
No.
Smooth.
Even the first half, people were still picking up fouls. Like, yes, you had that first quarter where Luka was going crazy. That was entertaining, yes. But in general, the majority of the game was just slow, monotonous.
That second half was pretty bad.
Foul-driven game. And again, I have no rooting interest. Like, maybe I like the Lakers more than I like the Clippers, but I don't have necessarily a rooting interest. I just want to be entertained. To stay up to 2 a.m. Eastern to watch a free throw marathon is crazy.
I think the Lakers got more free throws for sure than the Clippers. James got some, of course. I think there was even some plays where they missed fouls. I know where you're coming from, and I'm a fan of these guys because I think it's unbelievably hard and challenging to do what they do. Not only score, but score through contact, score trying to find bodies. Like to jump into somebody, to find contact, and then go score. But you're right. It does slow the game down. It does make it a little bit more watered down. The question is, how do we fix it? I've always been a fan. I'm a defensive guy, so I've always been a fan of taking out of the flopping, taking out of the foul baiting. Guys should no longer be able to jump sideways, jump backwards. If a guy's searching for body contact, is it automatic offensive foul? Like how do you change that? We did the flopping rule where they did this and they gave technicals. They do it every once in a blue. They emphasize it for a week, then they go back to regular business, regularly scheduled programming. So how do we change that? Do we go to a G League rule with making it 1 for 2 free throws? You get fouled up until the last 2 minutes of the game. There's a couple solutions, but ultimately to me, I think I give them a lot of flowers. It's hard to do that, but I think you should take out the foul baiting and the guys searching. Like there's times where guys just jump into people causing contact, either no call or offensive foul, or I don't know if you want to give them a flop-in penalty for the team. But it's to a point where guys can't even play defense. Like they're literally playing with their hands up like this, and they're still calling fouls.
And if you try to play defense, you're going to pick up a foul. I honestly here's how I feel like I know it's an issue, bro. Because now and I feel like I'm seeing this more than ever. I feel like you're seeing a lot of refs not call fouls if the person makes the shot.
Wait to see if the ball drops first. They're waiting for LeBron to miss it first. To be like, oh, okay, now we'll call the foul.
Exactly, because they're just like, it is a foul, but even themselves, they don't want to slow down the game anymore. That's getting slowed down. So they're saying, we're not even going to call it unless you miss it. You missed it. All right, fine. We'll call the foul. I have no proof of that, but that's what it feels like. And there was only 50 free throws taken tonight, but I feel like it was the type of free throws that were awarded. It wasn't like, oh, I went to the basket and I tried to dunk it on somebody and I got hit. Mm-hmm. It was like I took a jump shot that I could have taken regardless, but now I leaned in to get a little pat on the wrist or a little push to the side so I can get free throws instead. I hate to say it because these are great players. It feels like unethical basketball. Like this it feels like it would never happen in a different generation.
And it hasn't happened. Again, I was about to say, if we need to go back to the 80s and 90s, let's go back to let the hand checking happen, letting the lower scores, letting more physicality play, and not tossing guys. We're also tossing guys for small little shove matches or like just some trash talking. Jalen Suggs got tossed tonight. Chris Dunn got tossed tonight. He had 2 technicals, but it's a little shoving match. I understand a technical foul or extra fine or something, but the ejections, the flagrants, the game all around, I know the old school guys, I know it's gotten softer. So do we need to get a mix of it? Not saying going fully back, but we need to get a mix of some of that old school into the new school game, allowing some more freedom of play, especially on the defensive end of the floor.
You could see it was frustrating for some of the players. Like
Chris Dunn, Kawhi Leonard, and those guys are looking like, what the? And then now they're trying to get it on that, and like Kawhi's like, yo, you're getting the same call to Luka. So
that's what I'm saying.
Looking for it now. It's like, so now guys look for it.
Yeah, Luka got one of those foul calls on Kawhi, and then Kawhi was upset. And then Kawhi picked it up against Luka, and Luka was upset. And I think it was Reggie Miller doing the commentary was like, "That's the call you get every time, Luka. That's it. Like that's." And there
was one time Kawhi didn't get it. I think it was against Bron. He was telling referee like, "Yo, he pushed me." He just looked at him. But yeah, it turns into a baiting contest, and it's not one we want to see. We want to see skill and people who can compete.
And with the skill level as high as it is, it feels like we're getting robbed. It feels like we're getting robbed of seeing that skill when the skillful players elect not to show their skill. And I don't blame them. If they're going to call the fouls, they're going to call the fouls. If you're going to get free throws, take the free throws. It's not their fault per se, but there has to be something different. And maybe I'm just not spoiled, but maybe we were served, in my opinion, so greatly last year during the playoffs where it felt like they were letting them play. And now you go back to the regular season, you're like, oh, this is regular season type of officiating right now in terms of the fouls being called. It was
keep it consistent, playoffs
right,
and everything.
exactly.
At least keep it close.
And honestly, I feel like imagine a world where James Harden never became an elite foul drawer. Imagine if he had to rely on his skill from regular season to postseason. And I believe that's part of the reason why he has shrunk in the postseason, because he's gotten so accustomed to getting foul calls during the regular season. Then the postseason starts, and it looks like he's quitting for some reason. It looks like he's quitting, but he's really just frustrated because he's not getting the foul calls at the same rate that he's used to. And it has become, again, and he is great. He is absolutely great, but it has become a quintessential portion of James Harden's success is getting fouls.
For sure. But I think James is skilled enough to still, if he's adaptable and adjustable, he's a chameleon, and he's definitely skilled enough to still thrive in that type of NBA. But again, he's just accustomed to, there's some other guys out there, we know they're not they don't have the skill to be able to play just through skill. They needed the fouls or the free throws to be the player they are. I don't think James is one of those guys.
Yeah, I think, but I do think he has. I do think I do think it has become a postseason crutch for him, and I think that's led to his detriment. With that being said, let's actually talk about the actual game itself. I have to admit, Danny, when you first said it, I was skeptical, and I said to myself, "How in the world is Luka Doncic going to lead the NBA in scoring if he's playing with LeBron James, historically a 24, 25 point per game scorer, and a rising star in Austin Reeves?" And rest assured, tonight he went out and dropped and went crazy. He looked like he was on pace for 50. He did not end up with 50. He ended up with 40 plus. He hit 7 threes. I believe he hit 5 in the first
43, 9 and 12, 13?
9. Yeah, 43, 9. Yeah, and he was one
rebound short
of a triple double. And it just seems as if there is actually, if he's hitting that step back, there's no guarding him. If he's
hitting threes,
there's no guarding him. That's what it feels like.
James. It's no different than James. He's the white version of James Harden. You know what I'm saying? When James hitting that step back three, and he can get to the free throw line and hit floaters and find guys on lobs and kickouts, he's unstoppable. That's why they changed defenses, because of James. Luka is very much in that same realm. But I also knew that LeBron is 40 years old. He was going to be out first half of the season, and there's going to be pit stops for LeBron. Like, he's going to take, even when he was healthy, he's going to take a week or two off and just, we don't know, disappear, drink wine. Who's going to carry the offensive load? Luka Doncic. You know what I'm saying? Tyrese Maxey has a case because Joel's going to be out some, in and out, and he can score a bunch. But I know Luka to be very consistent, and he's really good against the free throw line, and he just got a little more experience with doing it over a 82-game season than Tyrese thus far. So, yeah, that was one thing I was right about. There's a couple things I was wrong about that was definitely bad picks, but Luka being leading scorer and then Cade Cunningham being Mr. Clutch and, fourth quarters, those two I'm very comfortable with right now.
For sure. Any other takeaways or any major takeaways after you watch the Lakers tonight?
Clippers, even though they have a bad record, they didn't look that bad tonight. With Kawhi, they fought. They gave good. Both teams didn't play great defense, but they gave good fight. They had good spurts. They needed to incorporate more Zubac in the offense or attack. They didn't take advantage of that.
Can I say something real quick? And I was looking at that, and this is where maybe I'm wondering if you want to give JJ Redick some credit. It does seem as if JJ Redick said, "We'll let James Harden score. But we're not going to allow James Harden to have that pick and roll connection that he does with Ivica Zubac." Zubac finished the game with 10 points. He only had 4 points at halftime, and it just I feel like what they were doing, they were converging on the roles so that it ended up being Chris Dunn who was getting open shots. He finished with 19 points, and John Collins, who ended up with I think he scored over 20. Those guys got a lot of shot attempts.
They both got a good shot in the corner threes.
They were clean, but I believe that was JJ Redick saying, we will live with Chris Dunn. We will live with John Collins getting clean looks, even if they get some backdoors, which Chris Dunn got a couple on Luka. But we're not going to allow, when James Harden does that crab dribble into the paint, he's not going to get that little side pass to Visa Zubac. We're taking Chris Dunn's man from the corner and we're pulling him in so that we're going to discourage that pass. And either James going to have to take a contested jumper in the lane, get fouled, or he's going to have to throw it to Chris Dunn in the corner and hope Chris Dunn hits the shot. I feel like that was strategic. It wasn't the Clippers deciding to not go to Zubac. That was JJ Redick dictating to them, you're not going to get the ball to Zubac tonight.
I think it was a combination of both. They could have been more mindful because they were switching some. They could have been more mindful of getting a switch and getting him a post look, or even hit him on some rolls, or be more aggressive in the pick and roll. But yes, JJ had a good game plan. So did Ty Lue. I think they look like they both had the similar game plan. And Ty Lue's game plan looked similar to the one he had in Denver. Whereas all right, we're going to just let Jokic try to beat the scoring and take everybody else away from him. Because if he's going to score anyway, but we can't let him score and assist. And it looked like Luka kind of did the same thing. Like, we want to make Luka to score and try to take everybody else away. And he also, was like, we're going to, at times, we're going to let Marcus Smart beat us, or in company. Those other guys shot well. They shot 45 from three. But Luka also had an unbelievable night, had 32 at half, ended up with 43. And then you also let Austin Reeves get hot late because he had a slow start. He ended up with 31. He probably had that fourth quarter. He probably had like a good 15 in that fourth quarter. Who knows? And then, of course, Bron. He was just playing a smooth, chilled, laid-back floor game, running the floor, getting easy stuff. But if you just make Luka score all the points and don't let him assist, it takes him out of rhythm. It kind of neutralizes those other two guys because they don't get in much of a rhythm. But he ended up doing both. It said Clippers didn't have the personnel and have enough defenders to do all that. But yeah, JJ did a great job, and also the other guys stepped up and played well. Like, Chris Dunn had a good night. John Collins knocked down shots, but JJ was upset as well. Like, John Collins not supposed to get threes in the corner. Like, you see it in his halftime speech, walked off. So there were some things that they did, and both teams didn't play great defense. But I give them credit. They did a good job on Zubac, but I think Clippers didn't make it mindful enough to try to take advantage of that position with DeAndre Ayton being out. So yeah.
It does feel like they didn't take advantage enough of it. And I wanted to point out something here as it pertains to the Clippers, because I'm watching them, Danny, and it doesn't feel, I know you want to give them some type of respect for how they played today or whatever it might be, but I'm sorry, bro. To me, they looked bad.
They looked bad all season. Tonight, they looked okay. They looked terrible.
They're bottom six in scoring margin in the league. And the reason why I'm saying that they're bad is because even when they look good, majority of the time, bro, they are getting blown out of these games. It does feel like at a certain point they just don't have it. They lost by 15 to the Cavaliers. That was with
the game tonight was closer than a score showed.
They lost by 17 they lost by 17 tonight. Lost by 15 to the Cavaliers. Lost by 28 to the Orlando Magic. Let's see here. And this is like most recently, but it does feel like they have a propensity to just throw in the by the end.
It's bad.
By the end of the game, by the end of the game, they just don't have enough.
5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It's like they run out of gas. But again, they fought a pretty good fight. They're not in a good space this year. They didn't look terrible. They came out pretty well. They've been coming out good first halves, especially James. Kawhi, solid. But I got to give a lot of credit to JJ, man. Even though both teams didn't play great defense, offensively, he's got those threes he's got those three and a very good rhythm and chemistry wise, and he's also making it easy for the role players to get easy back. Even the stars, like he's always has a after timeout play we call ATO, where somebody either Jake LaRavia is going to slip to a back door. Like, there's a lot of backdoor easy layups for either Austin Reeves, Jake LaRavia, even LeBron James. Get an N1. Send a flare screen to a slip. Like, they always have good plays to get them easy baskets right after a timeout or to get one of the role players involved. So yeah, he's doing a really good job of that, and he's taking it. He looks very stressed and serious about it, even though they're playing well. Like, he he's not satisfied where they are, which is a good thing.
Hey, JJ, one thing about JJ does look like he's stressing himself out, boy. That man got some gray. He picked up the gray hairs quick.
He gonna look like RP soon. I don't know if you've seen Rob Pelinka. Rob Pelinka had the JJ hair about a couple of years ago. 5 years ago, he had a good, nice, full of head of slick back hair. Pre-game show, I saw him in Spectrum. So I'm like, is that RP? What happened to the hair? A little gray. It's a little lighter in the front. So like a job. Like the president job. You know what I'm saying? Like a job for running the country.
The president for too long. Yeah.
You see Obama, his before his 8-year tenure, youthful. Next,
after those 8 years,
he became salt and pepper.
Just like that. All right. Let's keep it moving here. I wanted to focus in on some of the teams in the Eastern Conference. Oh yeah. By the way, Clippers are -5 in second half margin so far this season, and I'm saying that because when you use your FanDuel Sportsbook app, you can go ahead and target them sometimes. As I said, sometimes they are one of the teams that are. They're one of those teams that are more prone to throw in the towel. Like when Ty Lue sees they don't got it, they don't got it. And the drop off from their starting 5 plus 1, maybe if you include Bogdanovich, their drop off from their starting 5 to their next 5 is like night and day.
I mean, they're barely playing Brook. CP played some tonight, but they're barely playing Brook Lopez. Like those guys on the bench. I mean, Derrick Jones Jr. is not there right now. He's injuries. They have a few injuries, but again,
they don't got anything on the bench, bro.
It's a big drop off.
It's a big time drop off for sure. And you wonder what exactly is Lawrence Frank going to do to manage that roster going forward. It's not sustainable. I don't think you can necessarily break it up per se because the contracts are coming off the books.
And OKC has your picks.
And OKC already has your picks. They're in a bad spot, bro. They're in a bad spot. There's no way around it. I would say right now there are a lot of teams in the Western Conference that are better than them. In a playoff series, it would never happen because it'd probably be towards the bottom. Even in a play-in game, I would take the Suns over the Clippers. With a healthy Jalen Green, 100% would take the Suns over the Clippers.
They're playing way better basketball right now.
Yeah, I've not even just way better basketball. I frankly just think they have a better roster because of their youth. The Clippers look old.
They can play a full 4 quarters. Clippers can play 3.5, 3. Play 3 quarters.
Yeah, it's not a good thing. All right, with that being said, let's move over to the Eastern Conference now because I wanted to discuss 3 teams at the top of the conference, Danny, that are playing very well. The Detroit Pistons are in the middle of one of their longest winning streaks in franchise history. They've actually tied the mark with a win on Wednesday against the Boston Celtics. They will set a new franchise record for a win streak with, I believe, 14. The Toronto Raptors are 9-1. And then the Miami Heat, who just got back Tyler Hero, but will now lose Norman Powell for a while because of a groin injury, are 8-2. It doesn't feel like the Heat can ever get their full roster together. Nonetheless, they are 8-2 in their last 10. Rank those 3 teams: Pistons, Heat, and Raptors, and which one of those teams, if any, can actually be a threat to win the Eastern Conference, if any.
Yeah, it's a tough position because, I'm going to say I'm biased, but I root for Toronto. They've surprised me. They've done really well. I don't think any of them are fool's gold. Miami's even proved me wrong. But if I had to choose any of them to be fool's gold, I would have to pick Miami because of the inconsistency with injuries. And they haven't been able to get everybody healthy. And I don't know if they have the roster spot.
Let's take injuries out.
Even with the roster, I still think that the other 2 groups have better rosters. Full health. So ranking, I'm going to go Detroit 1. I'm going to go Toronto 2. And then Miami 3, just how they're standing right now. I really believe that Detroit has a chance to win the Eastern Conference. I think that group has come together. Jalen Duren is a man-child. They have good pieces around them. Jaden Ivey's back now, another good depth added piece. Duncan Robinson, Karis LeVert, they've been in the league for some time now. Tobias Harris, another vet. But Cade Cunningham is special, boy. And him being the 4th quarter Mr. Clutch that I predict him to be after learning from that New York Knicks series, he's a guy he's a closer that you can trust to beat a lot of those teams in the East. I mean, there's nobody else. It's not like he's playing against Denver. He's got to match up with Houston. He's got to match up with OKC. It's Milwaukee and company. It's Indiana. Even though Indiana might not be there. It's Miami. It's Toronto. Like, those groups are good, but they're still young. Toronto especially. So, like, if they had to match up with Toronto and Detroit, I'm going to say that Detroit has more experience because they've been to playoff series before and they have guys that have been in the league for some time. So, yeah, I think Detroit really is a real contender. I don't think any of them are fool's gold, but if I had to choose one at full health that I say is the weakest or is more fool's gold than the other two, probably Miami. But they're playing at a really good pace, man, and they're playing really good basketball. And I know I'm going to get a lot of heat for this because, no pun intended, every time I speak on Miami, people think I'm Miami haters, but I do like their group. I like what Bam is doing. I want to see what Norm and Tyler Hero look like together. Jaime Jaquez, Fontecchio having really good years. Davion Mitchell. They have good groups, man. Khalil Ware is coming alive at the right time. But Detroit has got something special going on. And Toronto is just that they're balling, even with some injuries.
So you're going Pistons, Raptors, Heat, and I want to start with the Pistons. I like what they have going on. I really do. And a lot of it is because I've noticed that Cade, and you and I have talked to us about this before, Cade really understands the power of letting his teammates eat first. It's very rare that he comes out of a game and he starts gunning. He's trying to find Duncan Robinson and all those off-ball screen actions that they're running for him. He's trying to, give lobs or give like entry passes to Jalen Duren to get him activated. And then eventually he finds his way. I think what will be interesting, Danny, is we've seen this guy in the Western Conference go nuts. Lauri Markkanen. Lauri Markkanen is like a 25-plus per game scorer. He could nail the three. He's aggressive. He could post up. And there's been murmurs that the Pistons or the Jazz would be interested in letting him go. And I feel as if I am the Pistons, I would try and get Lauri Markkanen sooner than later because you're going to have to pay Cade. And the way Jalen Duren has advanced his game, he's going to be a rookie max too, right? And so you think about it, you say to yourself, if I'm going to give a rookie max to Cade, you already know you are. Yeah, I'm going to have to give a rookie max to Jalen Duren. Then I'm not going to have the money that maybe would satisfy potentially the money and or the role for Jaden Ivey. If I was the Pistons, I would say I got to take advantage of how the salary cap is structured right now, and I got to move Ivy and Tobias for Lauri Markkanen. That's it. I have to do it. Now, what else
does it work? Have you put it in the machine?
You could make it work. I mean, you might have to add something. You might have to add something else. But if I can get Lauri Markkanen to be that 4, that you have to strike while the iron is hot. And I think we've learned from like looking at how teams are structured. You could get a big if you wait to try and get that third piece. If you wait for it. And you try to get that third big free agent when Cade is already on his Cade, but you're not going to be drafted at a high spot anymore because you're the Pistons. You're going on winning streaks. You're going to be a top 4 or 5. You're going to be
sure.
A top 4
they don't have any. They don't have any picks from other teams from trades.
I have to look into it. But Danny, even still, the opportunity is grand. Giannis and the Bucks, they probably don't have enough. But Jason Tatum's probably not playing this year. Tyrese Halliburton's not coming back. If I'm the Detroit Pistons and I know I'm going to have to pay Cade, I know I'm going to have to pay Jalen Duren, why not strike? I know you're going to mess up some team chemistry, but darn that. You still got Cade, you still got Jalen, and you still got some of your role players. I would go ahead and say, hey, Utah, this is a historic draft.
Yeah, and you're not going to beat OKC regardless. Even if you get there, you're not going to beat OKC. So you better start building right now to try to beat OKC.
We're going to get, and I'm going to give you a lottery pick in Jaden Ivey, and I'm going to give you Tobias Harris as a solid veteran. You could probably trade him if you want. You can do whatever you want, and I'm going to give you a draft pick or 2. And if I'm the Pistons, I'm like, I have my big three. I'm settled now. That's it. I'm settled. I know what I got. Now I just have to work around it. Thoughts?
I like the thoughts again. I think Detroit, even without him, is a good contender to win the East. Only thing I don't trust is coaching, and you know that. But getting that piece may eliminate that concern or that problem, that issue, even though coaching still would be a concern. But when you have the talent like that, it can clean up some of those mistakes. It can clean up some things you're lacking.
Because in my opinion, as great as they are as a unit, and as great as Cade Cunningham is, they don't have a number two. And I think Jalen Duren is good. Don't get it twisted. Mm-hmm. I don't think you could expect as great as Jalen. I think if they went against the Cavs, it would be a 6-7 game series. But and I think they have a great chance to win. I do not think, Danny. I do not think they would beat the Knicks. Why? Because Jalen Duren, as good as he is, he's not about to drop numbers on Mitchell Robinson. In my opinion, Mitchell Robinson is the best defensive center in the Eastern Conference, not named Bam Adebayo. And obviously he has a lot of strength. Mitchell Robinson has a lot of strength to him. Mitchell Robinson is probably the only big man in the Eastern Conference that can guard a healthy Joel Embiid. Nobody else. And with Cade Cunningham, and then when it comes to Cade Cunningham, I believe the combination of OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges can guard him relatively. I don't think he can go crazy on them. You would have to do a lot of actions to make sure Brunson ends up guarding him at the end of possessions. All of that. Mm-hmm. But mano a mano, Cade's not giving OG work, in my opinion. You need the Pistons, if they're intent on trying to take advantage of this golden opportunity in the Eastern Conference, would need another score. And I don't think they have another score.
Not consistent yet. I like Jalen Duren. I think he does give Mitchell Robinson not the work he's been giving everybody else, but he still gets the work because he got more in that bag than people expected. And he can score. And he's more of a lob-threat rebounder, and he's strong. Because of the fact that he has Cade come off that pick and roll, Mitchell Robinson has to guard too. Not only him, but Cade and what's name coming downhill, because whoever's guarding Cade is going to be that pick and roll. And Cade has shown last year that he can give your OG Anunoby and your Mikal Bridges some work if he wanted to. But yes, they don't have enough to continue or keep up with that group that the Knicks have. I think it'd be an up and down 6 or 7 game series. I think a consistent number two would make it more comfortable, but I do think they have enough as it stands to make it to win a series against the Knicks, but I wouldn't be comfortable enough to bet my money on it.
Of course.
Yeah. A second number, a more consistent number two, or solidified, bona fide number two. Because Jalen Duren is like a number, he's an up and coming number two.
Yeah, he's a 3 right now. As it presently stands, he's a 3. He's not a 2, and I think he's very good. Miami Heat, as fun as it might be to watch, I do wonder, can this controlled chaos actually translate to playoff wins? Like, can they really allow Jaime Jaquez to grab a rebound, put his head down, go 1-on-4 on a semi-fast break and miss? Can they really live with those possessions in the postseason? Can you live with Norman Powell going 1-on-3 after getting a swing and just going straight to the basket? Yeah, he could do it, and you encourage that during the regular season. Can you really live with missing so many opportunities in the postseason? Like, can you live with other teams fast breaking on you? You know what I'm saying? Or are you even going to get as many fast break buckets as you're accustomed to in the postseason?
I think you have to try. I don't know if they can survive that. Maybe one series. I think you have to try, because I don't think you have enough solidified one-on-one ISO go-to, give me a bucket type players. Tyler Hero is one of them. Norm is somewhat one of them too, but like, it's more so they get it. It's not an ISO type situation.
Get it on it. Get it on go.
So, and Bam is more of a quarterback. He's just a more athletic, solidified, talented Draymond, and he can shoot the 3 better now. And he's more of a defensive guy. So offensively, I don't think you don't have a KD or a Cade. You know what I'm saying? Like a big guard that can score like that, or a Shea. So yeah, I think you have to try with the group you have, because the roster, it'd be different if Wiggs was a younger version of himself. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If you have a young Wiggs, a young Norm, and Tyler Hero, it's like, all right, we got 3 guys that are solid, that they're not like ISO guys, but the combination of them creates a really good star. You know what I'm saying? Or like,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
All right, I want to go to Chris Paul real quick, but real quick to wrap up the East. I know we just talked about these 3 teams that have really surprised people. Give me your top 6. The teams that are likely to finish in the top 6. Or actually, you know what? Reverse that. Give me your top 6 most likely to win the Eastern Conference. Top 6, not how it's going to look by the end of the season, because I know there's injuries and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But at full health, most likely to advance to the NBA Finals out of the East.
All right, I'm gonna go in order. Who I think has the best chance of doing it?
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with the
most likely.
Yeah, like the best chance of winning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with Knicks at number 1.
Rightfully so.
I'm actually gonna go with Detroit at number 2. I'm gonna go Cleveland at 3.
Pause there. Explain. I think I understand. I think I already know why, but explain.
One, this year they just look very up and down. They don't look as in sync as they were last year. Maybe it's due to injuries. Maybe it's due to the trade they have, but they just don't look like the Cleveland Cavaliers of last year. And the fact that they haven't shown or repaired or fixed the trust issues most people have in them. They haven't shown to be the team to show up when the lights are bright, when they're playing the toughest opponents. There's always something that happens. There's always, them being little brother and getting bullied. They show moments of physical, mental, and emotional weakness, like not toughness. They're lacking some toughness. And I don't think it's everybody. I think it's a few guys. And the biggest thing is they're too small at the guard position and too big at the big position, which makes them slower, but they don't rebound. For as big as they are, they don't rebound well enough. And that's the biggest key that they're missing. And Detroit got more chip on their shoulder, more grit, giddy. The nasty boys got some grit to them. I give them a little more edge as of right now over Cleveland.
The interesting thing is, I know Tim Legler has been doing this series, Coach's Corner, where he sits down with coaches and they kind of talk about some of the X's and O's. And when Kenny Atkinson was talking to Tim Legler, one of the things he identified is like, we need more toughness. And that is so unusual for a head coach to call out a team for its lack of toughness. And he was praising bringing in Lonzo Ball because Lonzo Ball is a good defender and a good, a very good table setter.
Yeah.
But he's not. But you can't watch that and not think about the combination of Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. And I would be licking my chops if I was the Detroit Pistons, if I ended up having to play the Cleveland Cavaliers, because you feel as if that's a team that you could physically dominate. And that series right there, Danny, that series, in my opinion, would either make or break the Cavaliers. I don't care how young they are, but if you let those Pistons go in there with basically they're probably playing with nothing to lose, and then you let Duran and Beef Stew go in there and physically dominate, and you guys lose to that type of team, it's gonna we gotta
change some things. Yeah,
that will break up the Cavaliers. There's no doubt about it. For
sure.
All right, so that's your 2 and 3. You got 4, 5, 6 left.
4. I'm gonna go Orlando. They've been playing really well, and without Paolo, if you're able to win, they've gotten a better rhythm. They started off really bad. They've gotten to a much better rhythm, playing good basketball. Franz Wagner is hooping. They're playing like we expected them to play right now. Anthony Black coming off the bench. They just beat Philly by 40. He had 29 at half. He ended up with 31, but they're getting some good production from the other guys. But Dez is in a better rhythm. Franz, Paolo, those guys are figuring it out. And then I'm going to go Toronto right after them, just because I think Orlando has been in the playoffs. They were in the playoffs last year. Those guys have a little more experience. That's why I'm giving them the edge over Toronto. So I'll put Toronto at 5.
Okay.
And then I'll put Miami at 6.
No, You take Miami over Philly, Miami over Atlanta, Miami over the Bucks.
I'll put saying full. You saying full? You said full health. Is that what you're saying?
I said full health. Yep.
That's hard to do that, bro. Because
that's most likely to get to the finals. Not necessarily be a top 6 seed, but at full health, which teams have the best chance of actually going to the finals?
All right, at full health, that changes things. So then I would put Philly in the mix there. I'll probably leave off Miami. I'll put Philly at, where'd I put Orlando at 4?
Mm-hmm.
Shit, even at full health, I might put my Philly at 3, honestly, because I think they could beat Cleveland as well. I like Cleveland. I think that would be Philly would be at 3, Cleveland at 4, 5, Orlando, 6. I'm not putting Atlanta in there. Who else did I have that I was on the list? So it's
Milwaukee,
New York, Detroit, Philly, Cleveland,
Orlando,
and then I had, was it Toronto? Is it the Toronto or
Raptors
or Miami? Milwaukee, I just don't see it. They said they're one injury, so Giannis can't do it all by himself. I'll go Toronto at 6. I'll go put Toronto at 6. They're playing some good basketball. Atlanta is between Atlanta and Toronto. I'm gonna go with Toronto. It said full health. They got to pay Trey. I don't know what they look like with Trey back. They've been playing really good basketball with Trey out. Toronto's been playing well. We with RJ in and with RJ out. Like they've won some games with some guys out. So I'm gonna put Toronto at 6.
It's gonna be interesting to see really what that Toronto team looks like when games are actually mattering. A lot of the worry with the Raptors was, can they actually space the floor? We'll see if they can space the floor well enough when it comes down to the playoffs. We'll see if Jakob Poeltl is enough on the inside when you're talking about a Duren, when you're talking about a Karl Anthony Towns, when you're talking about potentially even going up against a Giannis in a playoff series. I feel like the Raptors, if they are a good team, but if they play the Bucks, Giannis might just dominate that series and win that series. It's going to be very interesting to see.
I think they can beat Milwaukee. I think there's certain teams they can beat, and I think there's certain teams they can take to a 6-7 game series. Like the other good teams, I think they go 6-7 games. The other teams, I think they can beat like a Miami or a Milwaukee. I think they can beat those teams.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see. Long ways away, though. Long ways away for sure. All right, 2 more things. Chris Paul announced his retirement this past weekend. Shout out to Chris Paul, the point guard, as some people might call him. It does seem like it is going to be a shame. Unless he ends up getting traded, gets a buyout, and ends up on another team, it does feel like he's not going to end his NBA career with the title, because it's not going to happen with the Clippers. That's for sure. Not the way the Clippers look.
You'd have to get traded to OKC. That's not going to happen.
That's it. With that being said, though, if there's one thing about Chris Paul, and I think Chris Paul is one of the first. Chris Paul, I think what stands out to me about his career, go beyond the points, go beyond the assists, go beyond the steals, whatever it might be. I think Chris Paul was one of he's this generation's version of the nicest guy, or the guy who is very personable.
Most well-respected guy, not on the court.
Most respected guy off the court, that I think is universally understood that he's just an asshole on the court. Like, and everybody still appreciates it. Like he is so competitive, and there's no running away from it. It's so evident in the way he just carries himself when he's actually on the court. But everybody loves and respects it, which is a very unique trait to have, because most people, when they carry themselves on the court in a certain way, end up being seen a certain way off the court, i.e. Draymond Green. Draymond Green is a fierce competitor, and what he does on the court affects how people view him off the court. Not the same with Chris Paul. Chris Paul's done some things that a lot of people would still deem kind of dirty. But he's gotten quote, away with it. Yeah.
It's like Giannis. I mean, this stuff Giannis has done on the court would be like, probably a dirty play. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
even like some foreigner guys. I mean, even Joel. Like some people, that was a dirt. But because of how good they are, because they act, like I said, personable with their family and they do certain things, you don't look them in that light. You don't look them as a dirty player. Even some good guys, even some really good guys have made some plays that were kind of questionable. But yeah, CP for me, probably the most competitive guy that I played against in the NBA. There's only one guy that I consider that was most intense, the most competitive guy, and I didn't play with him or against him in the NBA much, but I played with him in college. That's Tyler Hansborough. He was just the most intense guy, but CP is definitely the ultimate competitor. There's not many guys behind him in that conversation, and it's usually old school guys. You put them in the conversation of like the Kobe's, the guys that were just not only competitive to the groups that they're playing against, but also their teammates. Push them and were assholes to their teammates to be great. He's one of the very few guys cut from that cloth.
When you played against him, like, what about him?
He would fucking foul on offense. Like, you know what I'm saying? You play in defense, you feel like you're getting beat up because of how crafty he was. He's going to give you a little chuck elbow, grab the arm, like dribble into your leg. Like, he's going to find a way, also get a foul. So crafty, so smart. He's quick with his hands. Some of the best, I said, steals. He led the league in steals 6 times. But yeah, he knew how to punish you in ways you didn't think. Like, I'm playing defense. Why am I feel like I'm getting fouled? It doesn't make sense. And then they're going to call the foul on me. But yeah, he knew how to say, if you had an injury, I'm going to attack that ankle. I'm going to attack this. I'm going to make sure you hit the slide this way. He was so smart and he was aware of, we're going to foul this guy. Or I'm going to make sure jump ball here. I don't know if you've seen a play, watched him. I called a game. He was with San Antonio. It's crazy. Toward the end of his career, he played with Golden State and San Antonio. He was there for a jump ball. He was about to grab the ball. He goes, no, Wemby, you grab the ball. Like, he told his teammate, grab the, so it was a jump ball between y'all two. Like, you know how fast to think that in the heat of the moment. Like, the game is moving fast.
It was a loose ball.
Loose ball situation.
He could have got it, but he told Wemby to get the loose ball.
Yeah, he could have jumped on top. The guy had the ball. He could have jumped on. He said, no, you grab the guy. So it's a tie up between y'all two. That type of thing. I think it was in Utah or something like that. But said just a heads up, high IQ type of player, but crafty and would do anything and willing to win. Scratch, claw, whatever the saying is, bite, scratch, claw to make sure he got a W. He would do it. He don't care. And there's only a few other guys that I have on a list that I felt that way when I played against them. The other was Russell Westbrook, who was an ultimate competitor. I got a chance to play with some of the guys. Rajon Rondo was one of the guys. He would find an edge any way he could. It was gambling, shooting games, one-on-ones, team shooting. He's going to cheat, find a way, scratch, claw to find a way to win. That's how competitive he was. So there's a handful of guys, but CP is definitely one of the top competitors I've ever played against in this game in my 15-year tenure of the NBA.
So I guess the one thing that's interesting for CP as he's going on his way out now, he's gotten some DMPs with the Clippers. The Clippers, frankly, just don't look good. And as somebody who's recently retired, I'm curious your opinion. Obviously, everybody's decision when they want to retire is up to them, right? Only they would know. How do you feel like Chris Paul is, quote unquote, accepting his retirement now in light of how it looks now and how it feels? Like, I know for you weren't able, like, yes, you went out on your own accord, but there was frustration. There was playing time frustration. There was competitive frustration that you were also experiencing too as you were coming to your end. For Chris Paul, just last year played 82 games. Just last year played 82 games for it
started.
Now the Spurs weren't great, but they were definitely making strides. And if there was a lot more positive vibes around the Spurs, even though they were losing, versus the Clippers this year, who are underperforming according to projections. I wonder, how do you think he's processing all of that? And maybe does what's happening around him make you feel like, yeah, it's time for me to get up out of here?
Maybe. I think he's looking at it all glass half full in a positive way. He's at home. He's back with his family. He's with his kids. He's at a place that he started something special with, a franchise that he can retire his jersey with. And nobody expected, I'm sure even him, to do 21, 22 years, did 21 years. They expect to do that. Another guy that's the ultimate competitor, there's only 2 guards that's like under 6 feet or whatever that's done it 20 years. Kyle Lowry, like he's an ultimate competitor as well. Like to do 20 years at that height, you have to be a different cut of cloth type of competitor. So for him to do 20 plus years and not win it, who cares? He's got unbelievable amount of steals, points, assists. He's left his name in the record books. A lot of people have him as top 5 point guards in the history of the game. And rightfully so, because he's earned that, regardless if he's won a championship or not. But I'm sure, like, seeing how it is and how his body's moving and also playing with a group that's not achieving the way, I'm sure it's giving him signs, but I don't think he's looking at a negative light like, damn, I can't believe I'm going out this way. I don't think he has nothing to prove and he has anything to be ashamed of, and he's okay with it. I did 21 years. I'm actually at where I want to be with my family. I'm playing a little bit here and there. I can enjoy my last year. I'm sure after 16, 17, or 18, he's like, yo, I don't know when my last year is. He'd stretch another 5 years after that. And, he can call his last year where he just dictated where he wanted to be, and he's back home in L.A.
I'm curious. It doesn't look like James Harden is retiring anytime soon the way he's scoring the ball.
Well, he got an extension for 2 years, another year or two. But yeah, he's scoring at a very good high clip.
I'm curious how this year will impact James Harden, watching Chris Paul, watching like a legend retire on your team, like, and watching them go throughout the course of the year. I wonder how that's going to feel for him being there and see, like, it won't have an impact now per se, but like when James does think about hanging it up, he's going to reflect on what he experienced as Chris Paul's teammate during Chris Paul's retirement season. It's going to be interesting to see how that kind of plays out with him. All right, we got to get out of here because it is now 4:24 Eastern. Shout out to the NBA for starting games or finishing games at 2 a.m. Eastern that didn't even go to overtime. My gosh. With that being said, we are, a day now away from Thanksgiving, which also, on top of gifts, on top of good food, it does mean that there are times to sit with your family or even sit by yourself and watch some really good holiday movies. I don't know if I'm going to watch any holiday movies, Danny. I'm caught up on some shows right now.
Yeah, some great TV out there right now. Great shows. Some great shows. Landman season 2 is out. It's All Her Fault. It's all the rage. Apparently, Fire. I'm saving that. I'm gonna watch it probably with my parents.
The Beast in Me this week. I've heard that's good as well. But I'm also thoroughly happy that they just put Homeland back on Netflix, and I have not watched Homeland since it first came out. And this summer, I did a rewatch of The Wire. I did a rewatch of Sopranos. I did a rewatch of Boardwalk Empire.
Okay, so you've seen Homeland. You just haven't done a rewatch yet. Okay, I get it. I didn't. Like, you're tripping.
Yeah, I know. I didn't realize.
Carrie from Homeland is in The Beast in Me. She's the lead actress in The Beast in Me.
Okay, good to know. And I also rewatched Succession. I didn't realize how much I could enjoy rewatching something that I've already seen. The key is I don't remember a lot of things.
Details. You pick up other details. You're like, oh, I don't remember that. You catch different things the second time around. Again, Shiv from Succession is in All Her Fault. So 2 main actors from both of those are in the 2 new series that are out that are viral right now, and for good reason, because they're great actresses and the shows are unbelievable. So I can't wait to dive into that. With that being said, let's wrap up the show because you are apparently, and I'm doing this with quotation for those who are just listening, I'm doing this with air quotes because Danny is the movie aficionado. Let's hear it. Your top 5 holiday movies. I broke it into 2 different series segment categories. I did a top 5 for when I was a child. This is for children, and then a top 5 for adults.
Okay.
Because, when you're a child, when you're adult, certain things you just don't understand. As a child, the top 5 Christmas movies when you're a kid, I'm going to put them together. Home Alone 1 and 2, just together. That's 1 right there. Home Alone was unbelievable. It still is. brings you right back to childhood when you watch Home Alone, and you still laugh at the
Mm-hmm.
same stupid ass, silly ass Marv screaming or being shocked by lightning or getting hit by a brick, and then him putting them through the traps and all the hellholes in New York or wherever he's at, and they leave him at home. Macaulay Culkin. Number 2, the Santa Claus with Tim Allen. When he doesn't believe in Santa Claus himself, but he catches Santa Claus coming down his chimney, and he ends up turning him into giving him the job. And he has to go to North Pole. He ends up growing a beard every day, getting fatter and fatter each day. And he's trying to not convince his sons or his kids because he's divorced. But he ends up being Santa Claus and taking over the job, and then making kids believe. These movies made me believe in Santa, and believe he was like real.
Fair enough.
Number 3, another heartfelt moment movie, Jack Frost, where I'm drawing a blank here. The father in the movie, I know his name, he ends up passing away and becomes the snowman that he makes. His spirit goes into the snowman that the son makes. Why can't I forget his name? He's in all the Batmans. Not all the Batmans, but he was one of the original Batmans from Michael Keaton. I'm pretty sure Michael Keaton's the dad in this movie. So yes, it's a heartfelt movie. The wife, he's trying not to like a lot of good life lessons in these kids' movies with subliminals. And another movie, Gremlins, when I was a kid, great, with Gizmo. Don't feed him after midnight. Don't let him get wet. Even though it's like a little bit of horror, but the Gremlins invading the city and the town, it was a great Christmas movie. And the last one is Night Before Christmas. That was another holiday movie. It was more of Halloween with Jack the Skeleton. I think it's Jack the Skeleton. But one that we loved. Honorable mention, Edward Scissorhands. That right there is the top 5 with an honorable mention 6 for children's movies on the holidays.
Give me the adult ones now.
The adult, we're gonna go with Bad Santa from the top. We're starting coming in hot.
Yep, I enjoyed that.
A great comedy. Billy Bob Thornton. Robbing people. Unbelievable with the kid that he just moves into his life. Great stuff, man. Unbelievable laugh. A lot of laughter throughout that movie. Old school one, Trading Places, Eddie Murphy. I don't know if you've seen this one.
Ooh, I've seen this one. Yeah, that's a good one.
Great one. Not another one with a lot of life lessons about money and how what you value in life, and how money is not more valuable than time, et cetera. And they guys trade places to see who can be rich and how politics plays a part in who becomes who. I'm gonna go the Die Hards, number 3. All the Die Hards with Bruce Willis. Those are crazy enough. Those are Christmas movies, but yes, they come on Christmas. Die Hard 1, 2, Die Hard with a Vengeance with Samuel Jackson, another good one. There's riddles, things to make you think.
Don't judge me, but I never saw Die Hard.
None of them. I'd say a little bit. The first one's the one you need to see is Die Hard with a Vengeance. That one is one you need to see. That's probably the best one. Samuel Jackson. And it's like got some things that makes you think, is some twists and turns, but like some puzzles. Four Christmases, another comedy with Vince Vaughn. And I forget her name from Legally Blonde. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. But yes, another top actress. She's great. And it's a lot of fun. They're visiting their families, both sides of families. I gotta say this woman's name because I'm gonna look crazy. What is it? Legally Blonde. Reese Witherspoon. I don't know why I'm drawing.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Four Christmases. Another comedy, visiting the families. It gives you the family feel of the holidays. And the last one, Reindeer Games. Ben Affleck, Charlize Theron. I don't know if you've seen this one, but it's a good one. It's a great one. It's an old school classic. It's a prison/Christmas movie about robbery and stuff like that. And my honorable mention was Soul Food. Soul Food is a Thanksgiving around the food. A lot of family drama.
Yes.
The Reindeer Games, the Die Hards, Trading Places. You need to see those for sure. You need to see those. So there it is.
You know what the problem is, Danny? You know what the problem is? The sports leagues have gotten so greedy. They've gotten so greedy that there's games on all the time during the holidays. Because they've gotten so greedy that and I don't blame them.
Yeah,
football's on Christmas. If you look at Black Friday, the NBA has a full slate of games on purpose. On Thursday, there's 3 big NFL games. There's college basketball on. It feels like the sports leagues have said, "Oh, you're going to be home. Make your family watch. If you want to watch sports, hopefully your family does too." Like it feels like you have to.
There's no more Christmas movies. It's all Christmas sports, man.
You could watch. Yes, you could choose to turn on a movie, but
you're gonna miss out on the games.
NBA and colleges have basically said you could always watch that movie. And I think that's maybe too. Maybe that's become the power of streaming to the point where you could always turn on a movie. You could always turn on a show. So let me watch what's live. And then when it's done being live, you can all watch
my TV. Yeah.
But back in the day, though, when you just had cable, you were hoping that TNT was gonna have you were hoping that TBS was gonna have one of the good movies on.
And I hope they replay it. You got to catch it when they replay at the right time. Oh, it's playing again right now. Let's go catch it. It's coming back on at 8 or something like that.
Yeah. Bro, remember looking at the channel guide? Nobody was like channel guide.
On next?
Yeah, channel guide don't even exist anymore. Those days are over. It's nuts. Yeah. All right. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Hope you guys enjoy all the family time. Travel safe, stay warm, and until next time, we'll see you guys. Well, you'll probably hear. Okay, this week you'll hear this episode on Wednesday, and then we'll put out a special introspective episode out on Thursday as well, as we celebrate the holiday. Then we will be gone until next week. We'll come back Monday with a new episode of Inside the Green Room. Until then,
happy Thanksgiving. Please read, rate, subscribe, review. Happy Thanksgiving. Peace.